Aquarius, this is your week ahead tarot card reading by Born Without Boundaries Tarot. It's a message for Aquarius, sun, moon, and rising sign. Now, this is an energy reading, so please take it where and how it resonates in your life. This is your message. And if you're not in Aquarius and this showed up on your feed, this is absolutely your message, because there's no way it would have popped up unless you needed to hear something at just the right time. It always shows up at just the right time. And this is where your message begins. And this is actually brilliant news, because what it tells me is you're moving on from a situation that you were stuck in. A situation that you were probably stuck in because it didn't make sense to you. And a lot of times we can get stuck in a situation simply because it doesn't make sense. And our brain keeps going around and around and around and around. And repetitive to try to figure out what's going on. Like, our brain is hardwired to figure out what's wrong, what's going on. And when it doesn't, it can't process, it's a problem, right? You found it, you figured it out, or you've enlisted help. The best things to do when you keep going in circles in your brain is to get somebody else and be like, help, because you need a fresh perspective. Right? It's like, you're not going to find anything new because now you're stuck. So you need the extra voice to come in and break that loop. Whatever it is, you finally figured it out. So we have the 7 of Pentacles was the first card that dropped out. And that means that it's not that you're not working. You're working really hard, but it's not getting anywhere. It's not producing anything, and you're dedicated, right? You don't want to give up, but there was a situation that for some reason you couldn't improve it. Right? And then we have the Queen of Swords, which absolutely can represent you as an air sign. She is certainty in direction. She knows which way to go, and she's able to make the choice with objectivity and clarity as to how to get on the road, get on the way. A lot of times she's my GPS card, because she says, this is the direction that you're going. She's all about the logistics, right? She's figuring out where everything goes. She makes clear and concise decisions because she is so emotionally removed. She is objective. And so there's clarity in her decision making. This could represent you and that level of brain fog, or because what this looks like to me, really, isn't that you figured out the situation. It's that you figured out you need to move on from the situation because it's drying up, it's dying, and no matter what energy you put into it, it's not getting you anywhere. So this is usually the decision between her, and then this third card that came out is the 6 of Swords, which is also moving on from something because you figured it out, because you've gone over the thoughts in your head, and the thoughts in your head have led you to conclude that you need to move on. This is the direction, or that you can make progress. You may be deciding to make progress by moving on, by a decision like, this is over with. Like, I don't need this anymore, and it's just draining me. So I'm going to make the decision to move on from this circumstance, because no matter what I do, it's not getting me anywhere. It's not doing anything for me, right? So it's like you figured it out, and you figured out either a way to move on, how to move on, or that you need to move on. But there is absolute movement here, and there's absolute progress, and it's coming through intellect. It's coming through your thought process. So you definitely getting the clarity that you need this week to work your way out of a stuck situation, or realize that you're stuck in a situation and it's not going to get better. And the way forward is movement to get out of there and to not waste your time anymore. So, okay, hold on. We have hold your vision, which means you're halfway there, halfway point. This could also be a timestamp, which represents this time, because it's halfway between a new moon and a full moon. The full moon would be on September 7th. This is very powerful energy for really I didn't even see this card. It's too early in the morning, guys. Believe in the impossible. Hold your vision and believe in the impossible. You're deciding to move forward with something. And now it seems like you're deciding to move forward with what I thought was impossible, but it says believe in the impossible, blue moon. This is going to happen this is going to happen in the next 5 days. You being able to decipher and move on and figure things out. And it's interesting, it's coming out in the moon card. And then the swords are there, so that's objectivity. But this is also clarity in your instincts and intuitions, and incorporating your psychic abilities, or your psychic perceptions, or just your intuitive perceptions, to be able to give you that boost or give you that clarity to move forward. It's saying believe in the impossible. Listen to this. 7 of Pentacles implies that maybe you were being too practical. And that was the problem. You were looking for a practical solution. And that's not, no. You were looking for a practical solution. And the way forward isn't a practical solution. The way forward is you've just got to trust your gut. You've got to trust your instincts. You've got to trust the unknown. You can't know it all yet, right? And then just figure it out in the process, or move forward based on what you know now and hoping for the best, which doesn't make any sense, but it does feel like that's the way forward, or that's the way being suggested to you in this particular situation. Certainly not every situation, right? If the cards were different, I'd say hold up, wait for the quantifiable data, right? But that's not what the cards are saying. It's like, go on, move forward, believe in your vision, even though you don't have the numbers that add up, even though maybe you can't really practically figure it out. But here you are in a situation where you know what you want, and you know that it's right for you. So you've just got to move forward based on what you know in your heart, and not your head. That's really interesting. And this is a timestamp in the next 5 days, because we're about to have a full moon on September 7th. I'm recording this video on September 2nd or 3rd of 2025, just so that you guys know, because people will watch these videos years later. So I get it. And look back on your calendars around that time to see what was happening, because could have taken the energy that long to reach you, but here it is. Energy moves at the pace that we're willing or able to receive it. So when we're aligned, that's when it will come to us. Let's understand a little bit about why this is happening and what's going on. Time for a nap. I didn't expect that. This is new moon energy. And then orphaned. I think you spent some time alone, almost in isolation. I just saw the 4 of Swords in my head. 4 of Swords is when you take time to yourself in isolation, because you need to reflect upon something that isn't making sense to you, or that you need to, not that isn't making sense to you, that you need to find acceptance for. And it's almost like the energy of tying up loose ends. There was something here that you feel very lonely. And maybe for the first time, you're letting yourself feel the loneliness. And that's what's allowing you to decide to move on, even if it doesn't make any sense or you don't want to. The 7 of Pentacles implies that you stayed somewhere a little too long, just working something out that was never going to work out. That was never going to. But how would you know that, right? You don't. And you don't know until you try it. And you certainly didn't give up. But there's also a sense of you're sick of being alone, right? I'm tired. I need a break. I need a break from being alone. I need a break from being isolated. I need a break. And you do. So here's the clue here is, where are you headed? This could be a suggestion, or that you've been thinking. And if you have, this is your confirmation. Go back to where you know you're loved. Go back to where you know you're not isolated. Go back to where you know people accept you and they care about you, and that you will feel loved and know love. Go back to where you're certain of, go back to where you know you're certain of being listened to, being heard. Yeah, it's like you're tired of feeling alone. You're tired of it. And you need to take a break. This could have been happening over 2 months' time. It's also coming up once again, those two moons, that two moon imagery of, with the owl, of deep understanding. It's like there's a wisdom here now that you didn't have before. And the clarity has come from emotional. It's like emotional clarity. This has been happening maybe over 2 months' time. I don't know about what's been happening, guys, for 2 months, but we get the two moons, and we have one of the red moons, deep understanding or deep knowing, which means this is coming to the surface. There's something deep inside of you maybe that you've always known, and this is now coming to the surface. A leg up is presented to you. You know where things are going to be better for you. So go there. You know where you're going to be loved and supported, or just basically supported if this has something to do with business. So go there. Like, do that, right? You're between two worlds right now. Allow yourself to transition from dark times and isolation. This is always reminds me of the Wizard of Oz, right? From the black and white into the color. But this isn't into fantasy, right? This is that sense of leading yourself or letting yourself be guided into a new phase in your life that isn't reliant upon the old stuff that you used to do. In some ways, it feels like you're feeling left behind, right? Because you didn't want to give up on a specific idea or job or relationship, you almost feel like it's kept you back because it's not gotten you anywhere. So this is when you allow yourself to transition into the new, the different. And this is exciting. This is a really awesome time for you guys. Aquarius, you love the new and the different, or the unexpected. And so it's almost like, let yourself be surprised now in the direction you're going. Let yourself be surprised now, and let the world be surprised. Like, you tried to make the mundane and the regular work, which is the Seven of Pentacles. You tried to make the everyday and the making sense, or the traditionally acceptable normal work. It doesn't work. So now you're saying, I'm just going to allow myself to trust myself and who I am, and move on to the not so normal things. And those not so normal things are going to bring me a great deal of peace, because that's where you fit in, and that's where your direction is supposed to be going. That's where you're supposed to be headed. This has turned out to be very exciting. Intuitively, you know that things aren't clear. Intuitively, you know something is trying to distract you, or that you're getting caught up in frivolous things. Intuitively, you know you could be overindulging in something. Intuitively, you know there's some sort of smokescreen here. There's some sort of deception. There's some sort of lack of clarity, lack of purpose, and yet that you're getting caught up in it. Intuitively, you know that what's in front of you is really just instantaneous gratification and not something that's really going to satisfy you. Intuitively, you know that this is Seven of Cups. You're being distracted by the mundane. You're being distracted by things that aren't really that important. right? You know that there's something wrong with this perspective or what's being presented to you. And you don't have to know exactly what it is. All you have to know is nothing in front of you is satisfying you. So stop letting it distract you. You're not satisfied. So what's going to satisfy you? I think that's the emotional clarity. That's where you're getting from deep within, is finally being able to tap into that reality or that truth inside of you that says, this is what I really want. This is what I really care about. Why am I trying to fit a square peg into a round hole? This is what I really am. This is who I really am. Why am I letting myself get distracted? And in a lot of ways, I don't know, some of you could be relying on alcohol or drugs or something like this, something that distracts you in order to keep you where you are, because you've needed that to feel good or right about what you're doing. And ultimately, it's bullshit. You know that it's bullshit. And this is the clarity, that mental clarity that gets you going in a new direction, starting something new, being interested in something new, a new opportunity entirely, and being curious about different kinds of things that maybe you were never allowed yourself to be curious about before, but allowing yourself to be curious about them kind of clears out the cobwebs. Unnecessary worries. And this is coming in the future. I love this. So your angel message is, you're worried about things in the future that are unnecessary. You don't have to worry about the future. It's not as fearsome as you think. Release the burden of worries by giving them to God for healing and solutions. Rely on the divine. Rely on the divine power and saying, God, I can't figure this stuff out. It's sitting in my heart and I don't have a solution. Please help. And then let it go. Hand those worries over and move forward in that direction that you're being pulled toward, because it is the right direction. And you're worried and scared about it, I think, because probably it's so different than what you've done before. But the universe is clearly coming out through this reading to tell you, you don't have to be worried. Let's see what's ahead. I hope that you guys will come with me to the extended. The link is below.